Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I've decided in this hand sewing tutorial to show you how to hand sew my popular headband bandanas. This thought came across to me thinking, you know what, maybe beginner hand sewers want to make something really cool, and what if people don't even have a sewing machine and want to make this? So this is how you could wear your headband two different ways, and I absolutely love this headband bandana. It is so popular, and I figured I'd do this for you hand sewing. Anyway, this clip here is from my first video. So if you really want to make it, go ahead and click the link in the description of this video, download the pattern, and let's get started. And here's what the simple pattern looks like. So I've gone ahead and cut out my pattern, and this is what you look like. You need number 1, the headband bandana, and number 2, the band. So here is the cotton fabric that I'm using. I really love it. It's so pretty. And I really suggest using a cotton for this project. Nothing slippery or stretchy, especially if you're a beginner sewer. Anyway, here's what you do. You are going to fold your fabric in half, right sides together. So make sure the good sides are touching each other. And then you're going to take your pattern, and where it says fold line right here, you're going to place it on the fold of the fabric. I'm just making my fold a little shorter there so that I don't waste fabric. And I'm placing the edge of my pattern where it says fold line on the fold of the fabric. Then once it's in place, I'm going to use pins and I'm going to pin it all in place. And then simply just cut it out. So by placing the edge of the pattern on the edge or the fold of the fabric, what I'm doing is I'm cutting out once and I'm getting a longer piece. But you do not cut where it says fold line. I'm just going to cut around the sides and the top. Wherever it says fold line, you do not cut there. And when cutting fabric, you always want to use shears that you only use on fabric, not shears that you cut open Amazon boxes with and or cut paper, because you'll notice you won't get a good cut. And always close the shears all the way down and you'll get nice clean cuts. So here's what I was talking about, a nice long piece. And now I'm going to do the same exact thing with the band. I'm going to fold the fabric and place the edge that says fold line right on the edge of the fold of the fabric and cut it out. Next, I'm going to cut my elastic. You can use from a 5.5 inch to 6 inch piece. So if you feel like you have a bigger head, go ahead and go for 6 inches. Seriously, I'm not trying to be funny. You may want it larger. Anyway, you can use a 1/2 inch wide elastic, even up to 1 inch for this pattern. You don't even need an elastic that wide, up to 1 inch, but if you have that on hand, use it. It'll work. Mine is 3/4 of an inch. Once all my pieces are cut out, I'm going to fold a double hem, 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to use my hem gauge here, and I'm going to place it on the edge of the wrong side of the fabric, and I'm going to iron down or press down. And I'll show you exactly how to do this. It's pretty easy. You can double it at once, or if you're a beginner, I'll show you the easier way this way. Look at how I measured with my gauge, and now I'm going to press down, making sure it's about 1/4 of an inch. Listen, if it's a little more or a little less, it's okay, because you're not really wearing it in the sense of a garment, so it'll still work. But you don't want to make a huge hem like 1 inch. Right? And then I just keep checking if it's still 1/4 of an inch. And if you're a seasoned sewer, go ahead and just eye it. Because like I said, it's not a fitted thing like pants, or you know what I mean. This will fit your head. Now that I have the first hem pressed down, I'm just going to fold over again. No measuring here. Just fold it and press it all the way down. Next, I'm going to add a few straight pins to hold my double hem down so it stays in place while I'm hand sewing. And I'm going to repeat the same process on the opposite side. Next, I'm going to take the band and fold about 1/4 inch hem on the short ends. I'm not even measuring this, I'm totally eyeing this, and so can you. And then I'm going to press the same exact hem on the opposite side, or end, I should say. My next step is to fold it in half lengthwise, right sides together. I'm going to give it a little press so it stays put. Now for the sewing. So I'm using a bright colored thread so that it doesn't coordinate purposely, so you could see my stitch marks, and a hand sewing needle. So I'm threading this needle through the eye of the needle here, and I am also going to double thread it and make a knot. Now, if you need to go slower with this, go ahead and click the link at the top right of the screen there, and that is my other video where I can show you how to double thread the needle, measure it correctly, and 2 ways how to double knot it. But if this video right here helps, you're just great where you are. But again, if you need another little lesson there, go ahead and check out that other video of mine. Now I'm going to sew a running stitch all the way down the center of this hem here. Now, if you're so new to sewing that you're like, wait, what's a running stitch? Go ahead and click on the top right link again. And in this video, I show you how to sew 5 to 6 stitches in an inch, hand sewing them. Go ahead and check that out so you can practice as well. And when you get to the end of your stitching, here's how you end off. I make one stitch right there and I pull, slow it down, and I put the needle through the loop and I pull and it makes a knot. And I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go under this stitch right here, pull, put my needle through the loop, pull, and it knots. And now it's secured in. I'll repeat the same sewing on the opposite side. My bandana is complete, so what I'm going to do next is sew the band together. And I'm going to use the same kind of stitching about 1/4 of an inch away from the raw edge of the fabric. Raw means the edge that's cut. Just moved my ironing blanket out of the way. And I'm going to sew the same stitch. So again, I'm going to thread or double thread my needle, double knot the end, and make the stitch again. And as I'm sewing my 5 to 6 stitches per inch, I'm going to make sure I stay about 1/4 of an inch away from the edge. You don't want to sew close to the cut edge of the fabric because your stitching can easily slip out. And don't go too low because you want to make sure that your elastic fits. Next, I'm going to turn this band right side out. So I'm using a safety pin, a rather large one, and I clipped it to the end, and I am just feeding the safety pin through this casing, the band, also really called a casing, and I'm just feeding it through. You see the fabric scrunching onto the safety pin. Now I'm going to grab the safety pin and pull the other end, and voila, it is right sides out. And the hem on the ends gives it a nice clean end. Now I'm going to put the elastic onto the large safety pin and I'm going to feed it through. Bringing it through, not all the way through so I can feel it through here. The seam is on one flat edge here, the seam of the band. And I'm going to let the elastic stick out just a little there. Just a little bit so I know it's there. Okay? And remember the seam is facing you. Now I'm going to take one end of the bandana, scrunch it together, and fit it right into that finished edge of the band. But I'm going to make sure that my elastic doesn't slip through. I'm holding it all tight. Hey, I needed to do it one more time. So it's okay if that happens to you. Whenever I make this project, I like to make it look nice because you really are wearing it on your head. So here we go. Now that I have it secured in place, I could either use a straight pin or my fabric clips to hold it in place because as I sew it, I don't want it to actually come loose in any way. So I'm going to use a clip and an actual straight pin. So now the same exact way, I'm going to thread my needle, double thread my needle with the double knot. Well, actually, I already have it threaded and I'm going to run it through. But as I'm making my stitch right across down, I want to make sure I get both ends of the band, the elastic and the scrunched up headband in there or the bandana part. Just make sure it all comes together, like you're going through all the layers. And you may need a thimble on your finger like I'm going to be getting soon, because sometimes pushing it through the elastic needs that little bit of, I don't know, push, and that needle, you don't want it to go into your finger. Nope, no thanks. Once I did the running stitch in one direction, I continue the opposite way, covering the same stitch. So I double stitch. I go over it to give it a stronger hold. You can even do it 3 times if you wish. The more the better, because it is pretty strong that way. Once I ended it off, what I'm going to do is cut off this little bit of elastic. And this is a nice strong hold on this side here. Now I'm going to repeat the same exact process on the other side, but first I need to feed through my elastic. And remember, the safety pin is still in there, so that was pretty easy. And now I'm going to repeat the same exact thing on this end. Scrunching the bandana together, stuffing it into the end of the band, making sure I do not lose the elastic, which easily can happen. And that's it, guys. That's how I hand sewed my headband bandanas. I mean, really, how easy was that? So if you really love making bandanas and any other kind of accessories, especially fashion accessories, go ahead and check out the videos right up here on the screen. And go ahead and also like and subscribe to my channel so you can get all the updates of my next videos. Thanks again for watching.